What's up, boys? It's the Nostalgic Gaming channel. Back at it again with some nostalgic gaming content. First off, thank you guys for watching the first part of the series, Age of Mythology Part 1. It's probably my most viewed video at this point. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it because there's going to be a lot of episodes, and I guarantee you, each one of them is going to be a banger. I'm not the best at RTSs, but man, I put a lot of hard effort into the games, and we're gonna win each campaign, right? And if we lose, I'll show you that too. That way you can see my true skill. So we played the first two missions, Omens, which was like the training mission, the prologue, and Consequences, which was the first actual mission, and we demolished those guys. So we're gonna jump straight into mission number 3, scratching the surface. And at this point, I'll be quiet so you guys can watch the cinematic.
Arcantos, by the gods! I did not expect Mother Atlantis would send her best admiral to fight for me.
Gracious words, King Agamemnon. And look at this. Ajax, I'm surprised to see you still drawing breath.
These Trojan dogs keep trying, my friend. Good to see you again. Who did you upset to get sent so far from home?
Well, someone had to come and help you put an end to this.
Helen is held behind their walls, and we've had little luck breaking through.
We are about to change that. You have arrived in time for our final push, Arcantos. Get your men ashore. You can make your camp to the east, but be careful. The Trojans have some scouts in that area. When you are done, we will start preparations for our assault.
Okay, here, so we're dropped off on a beach, and we're expected to establish our base camp, right? Agamemnon is the king of the Mycenaean Greeks, right? And actually, his brother is the one who got his wife stolen, Helen. So he's helping his brother out by going through to Troy and attempting to quash Troy so he can get Helen back. Helen and Troy at this point, right? So we see this pretty basic infantry fighting unit. This is scouts that Agamemnon was talking about that we have to defeat to get to our base camp here. And we see a pretty empty area, and they give us several villagers, right? We gotta build our base camp so we can get started. So a tricky part about this mission, right? A very tricky part is you're going to be attacked by the water several times, right? And I personally don't like building boats. I think most of the time it's pretty much a waste to fight in the ocean in this game. I'd much rather build myth units because they're much stronger, much more powerful. But one of the important things you want to do early in all real-time strategy games is you really want to make sure that you explore, and you want to make sure that you scout.
Those ships are coming from the Trojan harbors.
Yeah, Ajax puts it better than I did. The ships are coming from the Trojan harbors.
We must destroy them.
So one of the interesting parts about this mission, like the little key win element on this is, all you have to do is destroy the docks, or destroy the fishing, what do you call them? The port houses, the boat houses for the Trojans. And that's your win condition, right? You can cheese it super easily, especially because you're given access to several myth units that are land or water-based myth units, and those are particularly strong against boats, right? Boats don't really have a lot of recourse, and you see they're sending several boats against me right now before I have any real water defense force, or before I really have anything. Oh, my poor little transport ship, he's not really going to make it. He might make it out. Let's hope for the best. Let's look away just in case, that way we don't see it in case he doesn't. For all the people that like the transport boats. Oh, he made it. Go, little transport boat, go. Go, little rock star. So I was saying though, like one of the very important parts about this game, oh no, he's not gonna make it, is scouting, right? Like, and that's just generally in most RTS's games, you want to know what your enemy is doing before they get to you. You want to know what their army composition is so you can counter it. You want to know where they're attacking you from so you can fortify that area. They gave us a very open area here, right? There's at least 3 different attack points, including the sea. So this is a very poor spot to defend. If I try to build walls, they're not going to do much. If I try to build towers, it's not going to do much. Especially because my towers at this point aren't upgraded yet. And when you're in civilization number 1, you can't even build any really offensive units for the Greeks. Because you can't build the archery range, the barracks, the cavalry stable. So you can't really build any actual like combat units. So it's important for me to try and get my temple out and to advance to the next civilization immediately. And even if I build the boathouse, it's probably going to get destroyed by the enemy naval units because they send out several, including siege boats, which destroy buildings, right? They're like a really early building destroyer. If you have anything by the sea, you better not build something valuable by it. But here I don't really have much of an option, right? I don't think that's within range of those siege boats, but it could be. Oh, that bear's coming right from my town center. So one of the things about the lure is that god power that I used earlier is it summons as many animals like around as possible, with a cap of course, right? But sometimes you get dangerous animals, like sometimes you'll get a bear that comes, or sometimes you'll get like dangerous animals that'll attack your villagers. And if you're not careful and you have a villager one-on-one a bear, it's gonna lose. Every once in a while, a villager might, a wild animal might even be able to solo a combat unit. So you have to be careful, because even though they're kind of like throwaway units, okay, so in this situation, I'm going to pick Ares, because last time I picked, I'm going to pick Hermes, because last time I picked Ares, right? So most of his upgrades are focused on like cavalry units, but his power, god power, is probably one of the most annoying god powers of all time. It's called Ceasefire, and for, I think it's 2 minutes, nobody can fight. So with that god power, right, it's super powerful. Because if you're just getting demolished and you're getting destroyed, and you're like, I need to reinforce my base now, or I need my units to get back now, it gives you just 2 minutes of unabashed peace. And it's pretty frustrating, because like sometimes you're on a roll, you're destroying the enemy, you're in their base, you're attacking, you're trying to make your final push, and then they'll activate ceasefire. You're like, wow, I already destroyed basically all your means of production. I beat everything, and now I just gotta sit here for 2 minutes and do nothing. Right? So it's kind of a frustrating god power to have. It's not, it's powerful. It's more annoying than powerful, right? And by far, the centaurs are not nearly as good as like the other option, the Cyclopses. Cyclopses destroy infantry and destroy like human units. With the exception kind of cavalry. Cavalry's kind of fair against Cyclopses, because I don't remember if they can pick them up. I don't think so. And they also have siege attack. So when they're crushing buildings and doing that stuff, they can beat down enemy town centers, enemy towers much faster than a centaur can. So overall, it's just such a stronger unit to have, in my opinion, than the centaur. The only thing the centaur has for you is you can kind of kite a little bit, but then they have their special abilities like a long wind-up shot, and when you're doing the wind-up shot, really your guy they can't move, otherwise they have to restart the wind-up. So I'm not really a big fan of their special power, so I don't really ever pick Hermes unless I have to for whatever reason. The one nice thing about Hermes is I'm pretty sure that you get free Pegasuses with his upgrade, or you can upgrade something that gives you free Pegasuses, right? And that's such a valuable scouting unit. Like, Pegasus is fantastic. An aerial view in this game where not a lot of units fly, and most of the time you can just fly right over their base, and if it's free, you just remake it right after it dies. Or I like to hang it around like the edges of their, like right here I would put it right outside the gate. That way if they're gonna leave, I can see what unit is coming, what army style is coming, where they're gonna possibly attack from. Oh look, there's 3 relics. So in case I didn't find any relics in the last episode, which I don't think I did, relics are randomly scattered throughout the map and are basically rewards for good exploration. When you get a relic, it allows you some kind of benefit for exploration, combat, myth units, so it does something, sometimes resources, so it'll give you something as a reward for exploring, right? And it's a pretty cool system. You get benefits for being inquisitive. Same with the shipwreck that we saw in the first episode. We found the shipwreck with our boats. They gave us some money, they gave us some lumber, and that ended up boosting us up a little bit and get us a little bit further ahead. Now, was it super necessary? No. Was it a nice perk? Yes. And some of the relics that they give you are absolute dog. They're no good, or it's not what you're building for, or sometimes like the benefits spread over across all the different races or factions, so they don't really help you that much. Which, you know, whatever. It is what it is. It's nice to have something, and it's nice to be rewarded. So, with the relics, only heroes can pick up relics. Now, Arcantos can pick them up, Ajax can pick them up, Heracles, any heroes that you build can pick them up, and for the different factions, like Priests can pick them up if you're playing Egyptians, or the Ulfgars if you're the Norse, but only heroes can pick them up, and they have to be deposited at a temple. And that's mostly because probably in my opinion, right? I guess I don't really know 100%. I would say it's because it's like a divine blessing given to you by the gods, so you got to return it to the gods so that you can receive that benefit, right? So here, we're really just focusing on building up an armies. Heroes are extremely important in this game because basically without heroes, myth units are gonna crush you. I always try and build one or two of each of the unit building types. Also, the buildings like the cavalry or the stable, the barracks, the archery range, just so you can have a good balance of the two. Personally, I don't like building cavalry that much. I feel like they're not super strong. Most of the time, your hero can kind of head off the cavalry, and then they get sniped off by your archers. So I'm not a big fan of cavalry. If you think that I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below why cavalry is superior and why it's much better than the archers that I like to spam. No, but seriously, in this game, I do love spamming archers. Just because they give so much damage so quickly. And if you have a hero, the hero's going to tank, right? And if you have myth units in and of themselves are usually pretty good tanks, right? Because they receive reduced damage from most units, with the exception of heroes. And that's why heroes are so important. Because myth units, fighting against normal humans, take forever to kill. But if you have a hero, the hero can basically 1v1 almost any myth unit. Obviously depending on the hero. If you have a level 1 hero versus a golden colossus, that's probably not going to work, right? But if I bring Arcantos against a golden colossus, I would like to see. I got to do that in a future video. I would think he'd be able to 1v1 it, just based on the way the heroes work in this game. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. But we'll explore that possibility in one of these future videos, right? Alright, so the cheeky part about this mission, right? The cheeky part, I may have said it earlier, is the win condition is not destroying the enemy bases, right? The win condition is destroying the enemy docks. Alright, let's see who we're going to pick. Dionysus or Aphrodite? So Dionysus is probably my favorite person to pick. Mostly because of the Hydra, right? The Hydra is probably the most goated Greek myth unit you could get. Dionysus focuses on your cavalry, and Aphrodite focuses on your improvements of your villagers. A couple of them have myth units or myth unit specific upgrades, but this is a tough decision though, because Aphrodite really has a lot of benefits for your villagers, right? You can harvest faster. You can give your villagers more health. They can get more. They can carry more. So it's a very good boon to your like base resource gathering, and that's super strong, right? Whoever gathers more resources at the end of the day can build more units, can win. But Dionysus Hydras, goated with the sauce. Every time a Hydra gets a solo, like the last hit on an enemy human unit, it grows an additional head, right? And with that additional head, the Hydra is able to attack an additional attack. So you go from dealing your normal amount of damage, and I don't know if it scales proportionally. I believe it does, but I can't tell you for sure. I don't want to give you incorrect information. I'd have to read the little page about the Hydra in the game. So every time the Hydra attacks, it goes from one attack to a second attack with its head. So now you're doing several attacks, and you can max up at 5 heads. Otherwise, it would be too broken. But at the end of the day, your Hydra is now hitting people with 5 attacks instead of 1, and it's just demolishing enemy units. The thing is super freaking strong. Keep in mind, one of the boons that Hades gets, you see how Poseidon gets a little water horse, right? Our cute little water horse. Hades, when certain units die, they come back at your temple as shades. And shades aren't particularly powerful at all. But shades are like kind of like a fodder unit, so it's kind of nice to have. You can scout with them, you can fight with them, you can cause some chaos and discord with them. So that's a really strong mythological water unit too. I would say it rivals the Kraken. It can take down boats pretty quickly, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it has the same, the Scylla, I think it has the same kind of philosophy as the Hydra, where it grows additional heads, but I might be wrong. So as you can see, we're building up a pretty good army here, right? We're kind of focusing heavily on centaurs, because that's the myth unit here, and I knew that I was going to pick Dionysus, so I was like, okay, I'm going to get some tankier boys here, because the big Hydras are tanky boys. They're strong. Like, they can take some hits. They're big old meat wads. It's like trying to fight, what type of dinosaur was Littlefoot? The long necks? I don't remember exactly what they're called, but trying to fight one of those with a spear. Like, I'd probably turn around and be like, alright, I'm out of here, boys. Peace. And I would just vanish. I would disappear. You're not going to catch me fighting one of those bad boys. But then again, a lot of the other myth units are just as intimidating. Like a big old bull man running at you with his horns, going to gore you. Probably not what you want to see. Probably not the sight you want to see in war, right? And just a little bit back on the actual Trojan War here. Sounds like I'm not 100% sure. If you watch the movie Troy, it looks like Helen eloped. Some said she was kidnapped. But she's Agamemnon's brother's wife, right? So her husband is Menelaus, right? And she decides to leave Menelaus and goes with Paris. I believe his name was Paris, from Troy. Yeah. And he's a prince of Troy, right? So she elopes or gets kidnapped, and she goes with him. Goes back to Troy, and all of a sudden, Agamemnon's brother, Menelaus, is like, wow, like, hey, they stole my wife. Like, we gotta go get her back. And he convinces Agamemnon, who's kind of like the king of one of the bigger Greek islands, right? Because there's several different like little Greek factions and civilizations, right? And they get a very large army with multiple boats, right? Many different Greek warriors from different Greek islands. Because remember, Greece is several like different islands put together, like Cyprus and whatnot. And I'm not a geographer or a historian, but this is kind of my understanding of it. So they get these giant armies, and they recruit some famous Greek heroes like Achilles, Ajax, Odysseus, and it says Nestor. So they recruit these famous Greek heroes, right? And each of them is famous for a different way, and each of them receive their powers in a different way. Most of them are like Greek god adjacent, right? Like if you know the Achilles story, he gets dipped in the like immortal waters, but his mom held him by his foot. That's why he's got the Achilles heel. So I mean, Greek mythology is super interesting. I wish I had more info for you guys right now. That way you guys could appropriately be enlightened by these this Greek storytelling here, but I don't know all the facts. But basically, in the end, they gather this giant army, they go to Troy, they fight for about 10 years, and then you guys know how it ends with the Trojan horse. And hey, no spoilies, but you might get to see a little bit of that in this game, right? And all this is detailed in the Iliad, right? Which was written 450 years after the supposed events of, you know, the Trojan War. And, you know, I can't tell you if historians find actual evidence of the Trojan War or not, but it's just interesting how it all kind of unfolded, right? And how each of these people that are kind of like god adjacent, the gods are like fighting each other out through humans, right? As you can see, my one Hydra wasn't able to best the army. I'm being attacked from the left side as I'm storming the right side here, which was a perfect time to attack me because my entire army left, and the only things I have left are my C units. One of the nice things about Poseidon, though, is if you have a building that dies, inside you have little militiamen, and the militiamen aren't that strong, but they can hold off a little bit of an army. So with the militiamen combined with the cavalry I'm pumping out, combined with the myth units coming over, like I should be able to defend my base here.
The Trojan docks destroyed. Agamemnon's army can land.
So there we go. We defeat half the mission already, right? And we get part of Agamemnon's army. So this is where you're supposed to do the final push, go to the left side, and destroy them. And granted, I cheesed it a little bit because I took a transport ship and I just dropped off all my units to destroy the to destroy the dock because I knew I would get the army that way. I mean, that's a smart way to do it, right? Otherwise, you could do a full-on assault, but then you gotta break the walls down, fight the units. I like the surprise attack element. Just drop my units right off there and get right into the thick of it and then get reinforced mid-battle. So it's important in this game too, because you run out of house spaces just like in any RTS, right? You can't build infinite supply, otherwise the game would crash. People would have 10 million unit armies until the resources are out, and then the game would just drag on and lag, right? So in this game, you max out a house pretty quickly, right? So the only additional way to get increased army supply cap is by building the town centers. And you can see my units are struggling a little bit here in this battle. Like they're struggling a little bit with targeting. They're kind of running around aimlessly. Same with his units. That's a pretty common staple for large battles in this game. Kind of in the campaign that I've seen. Get that Minotaur. Watch him gore my guy. Oh no. So I used the bronze power in the beginning of this battle. The bronze power makes my units much tankier, especially because we're in the bronze age, right? And the bronze power makes my units much tankier. Like they're able to take increased damage, increased hits, they have increased health, or not increased health, I'm sorry, they take increased hits and reduced damage. So they're able to fight more efficiently and harder than the enemy units. And one of my things here is towers give a ton of damage. If you're just standing there and you're taking hits from towers, you're taking a ton of damage. I should better be macroing my men. Look, I changed them up. Because general infantry units attacking towers, they basically have them 1 damage with ease, right? So you don't ever want to have your infantry units attacking towers. And if you see, I changed my Hydra, now he's got 2 heads. I changed him to attack a human unit so he can get the final kill on it. When he does that, he got 2 heads, and now he gives more damage. So I'm gonna try and get the rest of my army out of here. I know those guys are probably gonna die. One of the nice things about the main heroes in this game, oh, I guess I go back in for battle against the Golden Colossus. I should be able to win though, with all my range units, a couple heroes, and only a couple Golden Colossuses. So one of the nice things about the main heroes in this game, like Arkantos, Ajax, Agamemnon, right? The main heroes that you're gifted in the storytelling context, if they die, you know, most of the time when you play an RTS and it says like, hey, if Kerrigan dies, you lose. If Jane Raynor dies, you lose, right? For continuity purposes in the story. And it makes sense in those contexts, but in this context, because they're like the children of gods, and they're basically, I don't want to say immortal, but they're much stronger than the normal troops. With the gods watching over them, if they die, their bodies lay there, and they just sit there. But once you're able to recapture the area, kind of like a tug-of-war mission, right? Once you're able to recapture the area, your units are able to come back to life. And so that upgrade I just did is called Conscription. conscription allows you to build your troops faster. It's an expensive upgrade for sure, and it doesn't actually benefit them in combat, it just lets you build them faster. And if I didn't explain the fortress too, the fortress is where we build siege units for the Greeks. We can build other like Greek-specific units from there. It costs favor because it's a very, very strong building, which is also a defensive building. It shoots arrows at people like a town center. It's very hard to kill, and basically once you attack it, even for the enemies, you hear the like battle music, like the ending, like the same when you're attacking civilization. You hear the like, okay, this is a legit battle music. So I'm gonna rebuild my army. I didn't even have to attack these guys over here. The reason I did is I want to show you guys kind of like the strongest that they had. That's supposed to be like, don't touch them. That's their base camp. That's their strongest possibility of fighting them. And every once in a while, some missions, like, you get rewarded for attacking the really stronghold and destroying it. Like, you'll end the mission faster, or you'll get some kind of relic or something. So it's a nice little touch. But I like to challenge myself and try and attack the much more dangerous, much more difficult, fortified bastion areas of the game. Because if I just killed the docks, I would have been done in like probably 10 minutes, right? If I was speedrunning, I probably could have been done with this level in probably like 10 minutes. That's probably slow even, I'm just guesstimating with my skill level. But I like the challenge of attacking and destroying the main enemy base camp. I want to see what they have. I want to see like how well they can defend. I want to see if my army can stack up. But as you can see, I'm running a little bit low on resources. I have a ton of lumber. If I had a market, which you guys will see later, if I had a market, I would easily be able to trade some of my lumber for more gold or food that I need. Because I have so much lumber, I should be moving up some of my villagers here. And if you guys look in the top, I don't know if I explained it properly, but if you look in the top right, the little thing I'm clicking is idle villagers. So it tells you when you guys aren't doing anything. So you can reassign them. So I'm going to send my myth units over. I'm going to get ready for after I defeat the giant base camp. That way we can just move on to the end of the mission and destroy it whenever I'm ready. It doesn't look like my guys are getting extra heads, but they're extremely efficient. Oh yeah, they are. I like them. But they're extremely efficient. The one with 2 heads just died against other ships. And the ship system, the ship combat, I'm not super well versed in. Like, I know some siege ships beat like arrow ships, but arrow ships beat like warships, and warships beat like siege ships. It's kind of like a rock paper scissors, kind of like the land-based troops. But I'm not a fan of the naval battle in this game. It for me feels kind of sloppily done. The ships, it's not super exciting. It's not like watching your giant troops clash in a battle and watching myth units. Oh, that one guy was guarding all my heroes. It's not like watching a minotaur gore your cavalry and send them flying. So for me, it's not as exciting. But I want to try and continue my push up and get into the main base here, but I need to regroup my catapults. That way I can put some actual pressure on the town center, and I believe they have a fort up there, if I remember correctly. Because my troops by themselves, yeah, there's a fort right there, are not taking that down without my catapults. There you go, now I get to use some ceasefires. So I want to bring my catapults up. And I kind of want to see what he has in store waiting for me, right? And I'm very surprised to find out, not a lot. Not a lot. He's building troops right now, but he doesn't have a lot left. And I figure that if I station my troops, like, right there, as soon as the ceasefire starts, I could easily take down his, fort. And by taking down his fort, I crush his defenses. And he's sending out troops kind of one at a time. If I had Pestilence right now, this would be perfect. I'd probably drop my Pestilence. That way he can't rebuild his troops while my troops can take a tactical advantage position. But as soon as that ceasefire stops, all bets are off. And my guys are right in the thick of it. Exactly how I like it. My heroes are in the front lines. Oh, there's my base camp. Oh, he's chasing my Hydra. You see the Hydra, or that Celia has 3 heads now, so it's gonna get a triple attack. But those fortresses are strong. If I didn't have 6 catapults or Petropolises, it would take me a very long time to kill that thing. And this is kind of where the enemy struggles now. It looks like he just marked, like, build or rally my troops down there. Because my guys just kind of crush them as they're running. And he eventually attacks a centaur that's in the back ranks. Which, I mean, it could work if, you know, the strategy was to destroy my back ranks. But with so many people attacking him at the same time and he doesn't have anyone supporting him, that's not a very good battle plan. And at this point I started attacking the dock. Actually, my guy was attacking the dock by himself. Get out of there, bro. Kill some more ships. See, that one is destroying that juggernaut because it's got 3 heads, so it gets 3 attacks. And I don't know what the scale is on the attacks. I don't know if it's like 1, 1.5, or if it's just a straight additional attack. But that's why those are my favorite units. Those things are goated with the sauce. They're the sauce boss. Guy Fieri, welcome to Flavortown. And I'm not sponsored by Guy Fieri, but if you want to sponsor me and send me to Flavortown, hey, I'm right here, Guy. Give me a call. Nostalgia Gaming Channel. So I'm having enough fun destroying this base, and I'm at this point now where I'm thinking, all right, there's not a lot left. I kind of rummaged everything he had, let my men finish off what he's got, protect my catapults. So as you can see, the archers sometimes miss. If you guys look at the arrows, they're missing, right? And those attacks don't count. They're not giving him any damage. But with the amount of troops that I killed for his shades, he's got a lot of them. And the shades actually do some decent damage. But now I'm like, alright, let me end the mission here. And I kind of made the main battle. I made this the main battle rather than with the Golden Colossus is, because I kind of cheesed it with my naval units. But ideally, they want you to build like a land army and go and attack the dock. Well, why? I have a better way to do it. And we beat that mission. It was a pretty long one. I apologize it was so long. And then we move on to a fine plan.
Ah, and here he comes, Odysseus, a champion of Atlantis, sent to fight in my army. Join us, Sorcantos. You know the famous Odysseus, surely.
I know of him. Your reputation precedes you.
As does yours. Are you ready for the siege? We could use your advice in planning our attack.
As the commander here, I have already taken care of the plans, Odysseus. You and Orcantos will take your armies and start the siege of the gates.
That's a fine start. What about the other armies?
Ajax and I will keep our men in reserve. When you get through, Ajax will rush his men in to clear out the Trojan defenders. Then I will enter and rescue Helen.
That little look that they gave each other is...
There's no gold nearby. You'll need to find and take over one of Troy's mining operations.
It's classic. It's like, hey, of course the king wants to come in and get all the glory while we do all the fighting, right? That's a pretty good representation of war itself. The bigwigs get all the glory, and you know, you got the people on the floor risking their lives, and they get who knows what. Okay, so in this mission, the little trick is that there's no gold around. So you're going to have to find a way to get yourself a steady supply of gold. Right? And there's a couple ways to do it. And I think it's super ingenious how they did this. Like, this is a very well played out mission with a very nice little gimmick. Because a lot of the missions have little gimmicks. But this one I think is a particularly cool one, because they give you so many different options on how to do it, right? You can either, number one, attack here. When you see my scout, he's going to find the little gold mine.
Here's the gold we need.
You can go over, harass the couple archers, and the army I have already right now is, in addition to Odysseus, who's a major Greek hero, right? Odysseus, fantastic hero, he's an archer. He's one of the greats in the Greek mythology, like lore. So in addition to Odysseus, they give me some cavalry, they give me a siege tower. I build myself a little minotaur. So you kill this mining outpost, and now you have a mining outpost close to your town, right? And it gives you a little bit of gold every time you destroy a Trojan mining facility. So in addition to these little mining posts, in the water out there, there's an isolated.
This supplies Troy with gold. We can put a stop to that.
There's an isolated little gold mine, and the isolated gold mine, you can ship some villagers over the sea once you capture that area, and you can mine for free over there. I found another relic. It's the benefits of adventuring. So I believe I have enough units here to take this down with my siege tower. So I'm like, you know what? I might as well, right? I might as well get rid of one of their towns here, because this is where they're trading the gold with the little caravan. I might as well knock out their trade caravan right now. Because you also get benefits for destroying the donkey caravan carts. Like, you get money for doing it. I think to myself, alright, cool, like, we destroyed a town center, now I'm going to take this over. Somehow the donkey returns. So the way the donkeys work is, you build a market. With the market, you build a little donkey cart. The donkey cart runs to a town center, and depending on the distance of the town center, you get a set amount of gold. Right, the further it is, the more gold you get. Because the idea behind the theory is, the further it is, the more dangerous it is for your donkey to go, the more treacherous it is, the further he has to walk, the more gold you kind of deserve, right? So I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to build a town center, and then I go, oh shoot, I can't build a town center yet. But let's get ourselves this little island over here. Let's get ourselves some extra gold, because gold is scarce in this mission. I'm going to get as many gold sites as I can. See, I want to build a town center, and then I remember you can't. It's X'd out. I don't think you can build a town center until you're in like the 4th age for most of these missions. And I don't know the reasoning behind that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And now we get a real win condition, which is go and destroy the Trojans. There are 2 fortresses. There's 2 fortresses at the west gate. And they're pretty heavily defended, right? So using my two ships, oh, luckily they didn't go and target my civilians. They instead want the battle. In fact, I guess nobody wants a battle. For some reason, my guys aren't fighting. And if you have a villager in your army supply, for some reason it makes the battle command kind of janky. So if your guys aren't fighting, or you don't have the attack move option, you probably have a villager in your army supply. So you gotta be careful and move them out. But I'm going to send my guys in an exploratory expedition to try and find more like relics around the map, try and find more, like stop those donkey carts. I want my guys to go out and explore, because I have a pretty decent sized army. They gave me a bigger army than they usually do on this map. And they even gave me a siege weapon, so I can take out like minor encampments, minor walls, and watchtowers and whatnot, and not really have to worry about it. And I also want to max out. One of the things I like to do with this game, particularly, that I don't do in most RTSs, is if I have enough to buy a house, I just spam houses as quickly as I can. They build pretty quick. It's nice to not get supply locked, because you can get supply locked really quick in this game. Some of the units take a lot of supply. Like, the bigger units you build take more supply, and you fill up pretty quick. So I got a little plan in my head. I'm like, okay, let me make sure I get enough resources here. Let me send some guys across the sea. And I also want to try and do as much as I can in this game. That way you guys can kind of see like every single strategy you could take, right? Because they give you a couple options. Specifically, they say, kill the trade center, right? or find a gold, destroy the gold. So you get different options on how to complete the mission. Like they give you a puzzle with several wildcard pieces, and they say, okay, here's the end goal. I want you to make this picture. We don't really care how you do it, and use your wildcard pieces appropriately, which I think is a fantastic way. Like it gives the player a lot of freedom to act, and a lot of freedom to complete the different missions. And that's one of the beautiful things about this game is they give you a lot of different choice, like with the minor gods, with the way you complete the mission, with the upgrades you can make. It's not the same path every time, and there's different benefits to doing it different ways. Like that last map, I could have picked Aphrodite, right? I definitely could have won with Aphrodite. But picking Dionysus and building those Myth C units, I could have beaten the mission almost immediately. It's a cheeky little way to do it, and they don't punish you for trying to cheese or be cheeky in this game, which is nice. And one of the most annoying things is when the enemy has a Pegasus. And when the enemy Pegasus flies over your settlement camp or flies over your army, your guys just spaz out. And they run around and they try and shoot it and they don't know what to do. Those guys had enough people to take down my Pegasus pretty quickly, but if you don't have enough units to take down the Pegasus, your guys fall out of formation. Your towers just start shooting randomly. It's kind of annoying. But the Pegasus is such a valuable unit, I don't blame the enemy for wanting to do it. I don't know if they actually use the scout. Like when they see something, I don't know if they change their strategy or if they build different units or if they do anything. That'd be pretty cool if they were able to program that, but this is 2002 talking, so I don't know if that's a possibility for the skill level of the programmers at this point in time when this game was made. Which if it could be, I guess. Props to them if it was. That would be awesome. But in my mind, I don't think so. Probably not. And I got a lot of guys just standing around. Get to work, villagers. Come on. Give me some farm. Give me something so I can. You see, Odysseus is chasing that Pegasus down. Now he's getting lost. One of the important things too for your storehouses and for your granaries is upgrading your resource acquisition rate. You're able to upgrade how fast your guys can mine or how fast you guys can chop wood or farm or gather, and that gives you a big benefit in the long run, especially if you have a farm's infinite supply. Oh, there's a Medusa. I bet you guys can guess what Medusa does for her special attack. I'll give you guys one guess in the comment section below before you see it. If you get it right, I'll give you a little thumbs up. But Medusas are very, very powerful units. Just like in the mythology, how Medusas killed countless people in this game, they scale it pretty well. They're very, very strong. Oh, I'm sorry. He wasn't lost. He was collecting that relic that I saw. The one thing that Medusas can't really take on, though, hero units. Because the Medusa spell, look, my poor bull Minotaur, immediately frozen into place. I should have been smarter and used my heroes to attack it first. But then again, it's just one Minotaur, right? But Minotaurs are kind of expensive, and they're very powerful units. But the Medusa has the power to freeze any unit that's not a hero unit. So I think they can freeze Golden Colossuses. That might be the only exception. But it's extremely dangerous to any of your units. If you have that, you can freeze a unit, walk away, get your Medusa back out, let her spell charge, freeze again. It's fantastic. It's very, very, very strong. So I'm kind of scouting the land here, and I see that I'm about to come up here and find the trading route, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to destroy the trading facility. I'm going to see what they get. And that's the main stronghold of Troy. You can't get in there. It's blocked off. You're not allowed to get your guys in there. But these donkeys are coming pretty fast. There's a lot of them. So I'm going to have to shut that down rather quickly. And one of the tricky parts is if you grab a villager by accident, like I said, it messes up like your input commands and whatnot. And since they're all just sitting there praying, I'm trying to move around there, deselect them. It's kind of difficult. So on this one, we're going to end up picking Apollo, right? Because we picked Dionysus last time. Apollo has the perfect god power for what I want to do in this little mission here, and you guys are going to see in a second why. And this is another reason why Pegasuses are so strong, or Pegasi. Like octopus is octopi, right? Pegasi. I think that's how you do it. Don't quote me. And there's a nice little relic up there that gives you infinite, or that gives you a steady trickle of gold. So that one's one of the more powerful ones in my opinion, right? Getting free gold for an unlimited amount of time. Pretty freaking powerful. So I want that, and I think to myself, this power of Apollo is going to help us out very well with this. And Apollo's got a pretty strong myth unit called the Manticore. The Manticore throws rocks from its tail, and I believe its special power is it throws multiple rocks rather than just one at a time, like for one unit. And his god power is called Underworld. Underworld allows you to create a portal to instantly travel between any area. Kind of like a portal through the underworld, right? And then you just pop up on the other side. It's very similar to like, what do you call them in StarCraft that the Zerg have? The tunnels, I don't remember what they're called, but they let you pop out Zerglings on the other side, or Zerg units. Shit. The name's on the tip of my tongue. It's okay. If you guys play StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Prostegma, malista. Leje, izvoli, proseshe.
Oh man, a quick Google search, I couldn't even find it either. Oh man.
Izvoli, Kalos.
The more caravans we destroy, the fewer troops the Trojans will train.
Nidus Canal. There you go. It's just like a Nidus Canal. So I send my guys through the little Nidus, right? And the Pegasus gives me enough vision to send it that I could, so that I can pop it up on the enemy side. And I'm just picking off these little donkeys as they're coming. And as the guy said, the more we kill, the less gold the Trojans are going to have. Now, does it actually make a difference? I don't know.
Trade caravans.
But we actually are provoking a response from Troy here, which is good. Anytime we can annoy, infiltrate, destroy, harm our enemy in non-war ways, like that's a good thing. And I run out of house spaces. So we're gonna send our guys over. And these guys have been helping Troy for too long, right? We're not gonna let that stand. We're gonna pay him a little bit of grief, courtesy of our Cantos, courtesy of the Atlanteans. See, as soon as you hit the main town center, that's when you get the epic battle music, ready to fight. Unfortunately, my Patrolli are not ready yet to fight, so it's going to be kind of a longer battle here against the town center. And I'm probably going to take a little bit more damage. Oh, actually, I killed it very quickly. The siege tower that they gave me is pretty effective. It's not nearly as good as the catapults, but it's much tankier. And you can load troops in there and give additional siege damage, which is nice. I'm not even gonna bother with most of these other buildings too. I think to myself, I don't think it's really gonna do that much to destroy these buildings and this site here. I probably should destroy that because I end up destroying it later, thinking, oh, every time I kill a mining tower, or a mining camp, I get some gold. So I think to myself, oh, maybe I should kill that. But it's not directly the Trojans, so I don't get any additional benefit from killing it, other than the satisfaction of destroying my enemy's allies. So now we've got a pretty decent army. We want to go through, we want to start crushing our enemy now. We want to start sending our people through and getting the final push to end it on. And we got Heracles there. Not pronounced Hercules, it's pronounced Heracles. For you purists. For you people that enjoy average Greek mythology enjoyers. No, we'll kill this Pegasus pretty quick. See? Watch the Manticore attack and watch its pattern of attack. It throws little rocks from its tail. It's a pretty strong myth unit. It's not the strongest, and when you compare it to the Hydra, I don't think it's nearly as good. It serves a different purpose though. Like backline infantry or backline rank attack, it's fantastic. And you see Troy activates the bronze power. So if I didn't have such a large army, that would probably be a time to pull off, right? And I'm going to build a market so I can get to level 4 and show you guys what level 4 is. The final civilization. Obviously the final civilization, you get the most power. It's like the most powerful one that you can be. I don't want that guy destroying my dog, so I'm just going to zap him. Zappity zap. That zap is just like a one-time instant kill on pretty much any unit. The problem is you don't want to use it early because it's a one-time instant kill. You can use it on a ship and waste it, or you can use it on a Golden Colossus, a unit that's much more dangerous. So here we could pick Hera or Hephaestus. With Hera focusing on my myth units and buildings, and Hephaestus upgrading my human soldiers. One of the nice things about Hera is you also get a... Oh, I guess we picked Hera. You get a water-based myth unit, which in this map doesn't really help that much, but it's extremely strong. It's like a giant octopus. Very, very, very strong. And obviously Medusas are goated. We already saw Medusa destroy my Bull Minotaur with little to no effort. So here in the marketplace, I messed up. I was buying instead of selling, or selling instead of buying. But you're able to buy resources and exchange the ones that you don't want for ones that you do want. And with that being the case, like it allows you to quickly shuffle your resources as needed. I don't think, sorry Jason and the Argonauts, I don't think you're going to be able to actually beat those guys by yourself. Maybe with the town center's help, but the market, you can buy trade caravans, which like I said earlier, allow you to run to the main building or to the other side, and you can get gold like that. So I'm going to start my push, but I want to make sure I at least get one Medusa so you guys can see what Medusa does and kind of her stats and whatnot. But luckily, because I have the Pegasus there, I'm able to get high vision. And ceasefire comes out. And like I said, this is such an annoying god power when the enemy uses it. When I use it, it's cool. When the enemy uses it, it sucks. It's annoying. Because now we're just at a standstill. I guess it's a minute. So all those other upgrades that are in the market allow you to like trade resources for less. There's no penalty. Your donkey moves faster. So they're decent. The market's a great building, right? It allows you to make a lot of quick... I mean, you take a penalty for it, but it allows you to make quick resource changes as needed. But you do take a little bit of a penalty. Like in this one, I have so much lumber, I could probably sell all my lumber and not have it be an issue. But I have almost no gold. Let's get our Medusa, and then let's upgrade our Medusa. And now the battle continues.
If we lose our trade, it will hurt us badly.
Little did they know, they didn't have anyone to trade with the market anyways.
Dogs.
And we're gonna use our ultimate god power, Lightning Storm here. And Lightning Storm is probably one of the weaker of the ultimate god powers, in my opinion. It's kind of cool because it just zaps a bunch of dudes. It's pretty efficient. It destroys buildings, it destroys troops, it destroys units. But when you see some of the other ones, it's not nearly as good. And then we use our full heal, or we'll use our heal god power. And I accidentally clicked on it while trying to grab the Medusa. But we're gonna kill the 4, we're gonna kill the temple. We're gonna get pushed right towards the end here. And since this mission is gonna end very quickly here, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you didn't, let me know below. If you did, let me know below. Let me know what I can improve, let me know what I can't. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate I like making these videos for you guys. I enjoy it. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the series. Hopefully RTS Sunday continues. I'm thinking about doing a couple more series here. If you haven't already checked out my Legend of Valandar series, if you're into PlayStation 2 era RPGs, check that out. If not, I'm probably going to be doing another series. Yeah, I heard my Medusa set it off. I didn't actually see it, but it looks like she froze somebody. Or it sounds like she froze somebody. Now we're going to push into the end of the West Gate, and we're going to just finish up the mission here. This was a longer video, so hopefully the next one's not as long for you guys, but thank you guys for checking me out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. And don't forget to catch us on the next one. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys all have a good day.
Send word to Ajax.